What's up, Truth Seekers? My name is Ryan from Ryan's Rants, and with the continuing insanity of Donald Trump's presidential nomination, Republicans are finding it harder and harder to support a man as crazy as him. However, no man embodies attempting to rationalize insanity better than Fox News' own Eric Bolling, a man probably voted most likely to get in a fight with a referee at his son's Little League baseball game. For those of you who don't know, Eric Bolling is one of the contributors on the Fox News show The Five, and for those who want to know a brief summary of the other four contributors, it goes something like this. First, you have Greg Gutfeld, the type of guy who would probably describe himself as the funny one amongst his group of friends, despite the fact that no one's ever actually laughed at his jokes. Next, you have Dana Perino, who is George Bush's former press secretary, who's actually pretty smart and interesting for Fox News standards. Next, you have Juan Williams, who's the token liberal of the panel, even though none of his viewpoints are really all that liberal. And lastly, you have Kimberly Guilfoyle, who is really just there to show off her legs and to laugh at Greg Gutfeld's jokes when no one else will. But without a doubt, the worst contributor on The Five is Eric Bolling, and whose book Wake Up America we'll be reviewing today. This should be fun. The book is about the 9 virtues that made America great, according to Bolling, and how Obama and other liberals are undermining those values today. I won't be able to cover most of the virtues just for the sake of brevity, but what's truly great about this book is how Bolling manages to criticize Obama for violating one of these particular virtues, but not Donald Trump or any of the other Republicans. Our first value is profit. Apparently, America used to be about making profit, but under Obama, apparently we aren't about making profit anymore. If Obama was really trying to kill profits, then he's doing a pretty shitty job of it, considering the fact that the US stock market and corporate profits have hit the highest levels they've ever hit in US history. Not to mention that Donald Trump has attacked the company Carrier Corp, who laid off 1,400 employees in Indiana to move their facilities to Mexico to achieve higher profits, but of course Bolling doesn't attack Trump for doing that. Bolling goes so far as to say that liberal college students should be required to read The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith so they can understand how the free market works. However, I doubt that Bolling has actually managed to read the 700-page behemoth that is The Wealth of Nations, because if he did, he would know that one of Smith's main arguments was the importance of free trade and how protectionism is bad. Now, what was Donald Trump's solution for Carrier Corp again?
Every single air conditioning unit that you build and send across our border, you're gonna pay a 35% tax on that unit.
Oh yeah, Adam Smith would have been all for that. Next on the list is Thrift. Apparently, individual Americans used to save a larger percentage of their income than they do now, and apparently that's also liberals' fault for some unknown reason, even though the last budget surplus in the last 40 years was under the Clinton administration. But if there is one man who represents what it means to be a financially savvy, penny-pinching investor, it's Donald Trump, a man who's had 4 separate businesses go bankrupt. Next up is Individuality. Bolling argues that the PC culture of the left often expects people to conform to a standard narrative of what is considered appropriate. He summarizes liberals at the end of the chapter as such. At their core, leftists, liberals, progressives, whatever, are collectivists. They believe that individuals should conform to the will of the whole, purportedly for the good of the all. Yet, as we've seen with depressing regularity in recent years, this drive towards collectivism is leading to a kind of thought tyranny we haven't dealt with in the country since the Red Scare. So I'm sure Bolling is super proud of conservatives who stuck to their guns and stood up against the Republican Party and said they're not willing to support Trump who doesn't reflect their values.
Under one choice on the Republican side, maybe not as conservative as you like, get in line. Take the medicine.
Ah, yes, because nothing says individuality more than get in line and take the medicine. And now, Providence. In this chapter, Bolling criticizes the left for being against Christian ideals and beliefs. He spends a lot of this chapter criticizing Obama because apparently when the Pope visited the White House, Obama invited the openly gay Bishop Gene Robinson, which Bolling considered disrespectful to the Pope. However, of course, when that exact same Pope has this to say about Donald Trump,
una persona che pensa soltanto in fare muri sia dove sia e non fare ponti non è cristiano. Soltanto dico quest'uomo non è cristiano.
Bolling conveniently forgets to write anything negative about Donald Trump. And my favorite chapter of this book was Manliness. According to Bolling, America isn't as manly as it used to be, even though each Sunday we spend more time as Americans watching the biggest, baddest alpha males basically ensure that none of them live past the age of 50, and in second place on Sunday, we learn about some hippie that lived 2,000 years ago. He also talks about the way that he gained respect on the New York Mercantile Exchange was by punching another trader in the face. And it was this type of competitive bravado that made this country great in the first place, as if somehow the solution to America's problems is punching more people in the face. So we all know that Bolling wasn't going to take any crap from Geraldo Rivera after this exchange.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
You're lucky that you're my friend. I'd knock you out right now.
Well,
that's absolute BS.
Damn, Eric, you're really going to take that crap from Rivera? punch him in the face like a real man, come on. But my favorite quote from this entire book comes in this chapter where he says, "Men are turned into metrosexuals with perfect manicures and hair just so, and colorful socks. Justin Bieber dresses and talks and wears his hair like a girl." This, of course, is coming from a man who is so orange that he looks like he sleeps in a tanning bed in the way that a vampire sleeps in a coffin. Needless to say, this book gets 1 star out of 5. It is bad, guys. As a side rant, guys, I would like to just point out that you cannot call yourself a traditional conservative and be a supporter of Donald Trump. Period. First, Donald Trump is an advocate for protectionism, which is so antithetical to traditional conservative economic ideals that Milton Friedman, who is one of Ronald Reagan's economic advisors, is probably rolling in his grave right now. Secondly, Donald Trump seems to have a very friendly relationship with Russia and Vladimir Putin, and has gone so far as to spurn our relationship with NATO. If you think that those are traditional conservative ideals on foreign policy, you're out of your mind. Thirdly, Donald Trump has yet to propose any sort of spending decreases by the federal government. As a matter of fact, he's actually advocated a $500 billion spending increase on infrastructure, which is more than what Hillary Clinton has actually advocated for. He's also proposed a tax policy plan that would increase the national debt by $9.5 trillion, according to the Tax Policy Center. These are not conservative ideals. However, idiots like Eric Bolling seem to defend Donald Trump with arguments like this.
You never Trumpers have to realize that not voting for Donald Trump has to, by definition, hand this election to Hillary Clinton.
That's right. According to people like Bolling, conservatism isn't defined by its ideals or principles. Conservatism is instead defined as not Hillary or not Obama. If conservatism isn't defined by its ideals or principles, but is instead defined by whoever is the top of the Republican ticket, then conservatism isn't a political ideology anymore. Conservatism is just a cult. That's my rant for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it.